If you struggle to understand God's grace for you, then this is going to blow your mind. One thing a lot of people struggle with when reading the Bible is when they don't understand passages that sound scary. Let's look at Psalm 5. This is a psalm of David. Buckle up. Listen to my words, Lord. Consider my lament. Hear my cry for help, my King and my God. For to you I pray. In the morning, Lord, hear my voice. In the morning I lay my requests before you and wait expectantly. And here's where it gets uncomfortable. For you are not a God who is pleased with wickedness. With you, evil people are not welcome. The arrogant cannot stand in your presence. You hate all who do wrong. You destroy those who tell lies. The bloodthirsty and deceitful you, Lord, detest. But I, by your great love, can come into your house. In reverence, I bow down toward your holy temple. Lead me, Lord, in your righteousness because of my enemies. Make your way straight before me. Well, that was awkward. One might look at this, as I used to, and say, okay, so God hates people who sin, but somehow David is better than everyone else and gets to approach God. This passage can sound distasteful in modern day thinking, or it can just be scary and confusing to those who are consistently feeling burdened and shamed in the eyes of God. So what makes David able to come into God's house? Well, he starts off with a plea for God's help in his current circumstance. It quickly takes a sharp turn into condemnation and judgment. Isn't this the same David who slept with another man's wife? The same David who said other men like that should die? The same David who tried to keep all this a secret, and the same David who, after sleeping with the guy's wife, tried to cover it up by arranging for that man to be killed in battle in David's army. Yep, that's the guy. But then he takes another sharp turn. But I, by your great love, can come into your house. What a picture of the true scandal of grace. For as much as God hates the injustice of sin and the harm that it does, his grace is more. This psalm is a reminder that God doesn't overlook sin. He covers it with mercy. This is made possible by our faith. Faith is the choice to accept God's offer of forgiveness in exchange for the acknowledging of our sin. Because it's in the acknowledging or the confession and honesty and surrender that transformation is able to begin. This is also the same David who acknowledges his need to be led in God's righteousness because he knows his own righteousness is insufficient. David's failures, his sin, had grave consequences, but it was his sharp turn of repentance when confronted by Nathan the prophet. He was so broken by the evil that he'd done. This is the same David whose psalms reveal how deeply he longed for God. The same guy who leaned on God's mercy instead of his own ability to always get it right. So if God's grace was available for someone like David, that means his grace was never meant to be reserved for people who only do the right thing all the time. It's meant for people humble enough to admit that they can't save themselves.